How do you learn who you really are? It's not found in books, it's found on the battlefield. What's up, Warriors? This is Rick from the Warriors Way Mindset, and we are doing the Battlefield of the Mind. I'm back again with Andrew, so I'm excited to hang out with you again from South Africa. And it was fun last week. I like the conversation. I like the way that you communicate. And we got a couple cool topics to get into for people, whether we get into expectations, loss and failure, highs and lows. Is it normal? Is it bad? What is it? I'm excited to get into some of our real talks here, bro. I'm pretty pumped.
Always good to be here, Rick. Thank you so much. It's been great speaking to you last week, and I'm glad to be back. Always have a good time here. So yeah, it's definitely a journey. So it's part of the journey is that you keep on walking, and that's what we're doing. So let's run it back and let's do it again.
Let's do it. I got a question for you. All right. So people get into this all the time. I call it a relationship killer. This kills relationships. Let's talk about something that we've all got done. Expectations. What do you think expectations are? Like, what does that mean to you if someone says, oh man, expectations, and you would say, in my experience, that means what?
Expectation, in my opinion, is what you believe is going to happen, or believe is meant to be, or believe what is right. My perception of it, if you ask me what my expectation is, I feel like it is a valid point of achievement, or somewhere on those lines. If I just look at an expectation, it is a belief that we set out for ourselves as to what is about to happen next.
Is that like what you want to happen, or that's what should happen? That's how it's supposed to happen? What do you think?
Like like obviously there's always a want to it, yes, but I also feel like there is more a belief that is to it, because I don't feel like anybody, or personally, I'm not going to speak for anyone else, I don't feel like anybody ever has an expectation if they don't truly believe it. That's just wishful thinking, honestly. Like when I have an expectation, I feel like, okay, cool, I did the work, I get the reward, or I buy something from the store, I expect it to work like this. I did something, I expect it to to pay off. I just feel like it's the natural assumption of what you of a belief of how something is supposed to happen. It's not necessarily a want. It's a belief, because I feel there's more to an expectation than just a desire. If you want something to happen, that's just like I said. I mean, hey man, I want to be a millionaire. If I don't do shit, it's not gonna happen. So, but I mean, if I know that if I put in the work and I grind really hard and I do what's required, then I expect to be a millionaire, over time. But I mean, it's the best example I can give.
All right. Have you ever had expectations in a relationship and it not work out?
Oh, bro. Like, oh man, home run, yeah. 100%. Like, that's just, unfortunately, a reality of my situation. It's, I was in a relationship which I truly believed was going to be the relationship, like my final relationship, my last relationship, if I'm being real with you. I believed that we were on course to get married, and I believed that this was going to be the direction that we were about to move into. And unfortunately, things just didn't work out how I wanted them to, or how I expect them to. And as a result, I took a different course of action just based on my own beliefs, morality, and quite frankly, self-respect.
How did you want it to go that it didn't go? Like, I wanted this to happen, but the reality was this happened. What was it? Short story. You don't have to like get into her name and her stuff. You don't have to do that.
Yeah, no, it's a fresh wound, but I heard it. So basically, I was just in a position where I wanted there to be a little bit more stability, and I wanted us to have a little bit more time to figure a few things out, and I wanted us to be able to be in a position where we were on the same page. And I really wanted to be able to take lead in my relationship and take like real charge. However, it just felt like unable to do that. Um, and as a result, I just felt like we couldn't find middle ground. And I'm not one that likes conflict, and I hate that shit. I'm gonna be real with you. And the moment I'm in a relationship in which there was constant conflict and we're just not seeing eye to eye, and like when I get into like conflict like situations, I struggle to respond. I'm how do I say this, man? I'm old school. So like for example, I don't like shouting. I really don't like shouting or arguing or any conflict for that matter. Like I'm just like when I say I'm old school, I'm just like, yo man, you want to behave like barbarians? You and I can step outside, we will act like barbarians, like we'll throw down, let's just go for it. But obviously raise my hands to a woman. I'm not gonna fight my girlfriend. I'm not gonna raise my hands to her. So then therefore I struggle to do a shouting match or do a conflict situation. I struggle to resolve those issues. I don't know what to do. So I kind of shut down, if I'm being real with you. And I'll just be like, you know what? Fuck it. Cool. Like, just do your thing. And I'll just kind of like, distance myself. I'll be more quiet because I'm not really sure how to handle situations like that. That's because if I get into conflict with a guy, we can fight. We can just physically fucking throw down. Getting into conflict with a woman, I'll just let you be. I'll just take the high route. Like, honestly, how much does this really mean to me? I don't care. I'm just gonna take up, like, I'll just leave, remove myself from the situation. Um, but when you're in a relationship with a partner, you can't just take that route. So it was very difficult for me. So I kind of started to just shut down internally until I felt like I just shut down more and more until I fucking stopped reacting, which just felt like I was doing myself an injustice. And then, yeah, I kind of lost myself in the process and started to like really not feel very confident within myself, not feeling assertive in myself, not feeling very, how do I say this? Assertive is the good word. Not feeling very assertive, not really knowing how to approach a situation to a point where you just feel kind of silent.
You like lost yourself in this one. What is it? What is it that you were looking for? You said I wanted to lead. There was conflict. There was obviously some communication struggle that was happening. What was it that you wanted or needed that wasn't happening?
Um, I needed her to just follow. I just needed her to just allow me to just make the decisions, allow, how do I put this? I needed her to just trust that what I was doing would pay off and that the plan I had would work out. And even though it didn't look like it at the time, and that it is maybe a long shot, follow blindly. And unfortunately, like just kind of go with it and just believe that what I'm doing and the direction that I've set out is going to work. Um, and I just felt like that was not happening. Like it just felt like she did not have that belief, like not that real sense of trust in what I was doing. And that just threw me off. Like it just felt like the person I'm supposed to be with, the person I'm going to essentially marry, just didn't feel like they had real faith in what I was trying to do.
There's probably a couple of factors here. What was the main need that she kept saying? If you're like, I need you to follow blindly and trust that I'm going to find a way to make this work. What was it that she needed?
I've sat with this for a while, and I felt like she needed a real commitment. Like I felt like she really wanted that commitment, that ultimate commitment of like, I felt like she wanted that reassurance that this was a sure thing. And I felt like maybe she wanted the marriage and the proposal and the ring to like have that real commitment before she could follow blindly. But where on my side, I felt like the ring don't help anything. Like I feel like that complicates things more than it helps. Like I'm just not in a position to take on a fiance right now. I feel like I needed to personally felt like I needed to just get some stability first before I make that commitment. Where I felt like she wanted the commitment and then we'll figure it out afterwards. And this, I think this is where the tension started to come in. I'm understanding that correct.
All right, so in her case, like she wanted the reassurance, the safety, security, some stability, and she wanted commitment. And you wanted her to follow you blindly without commitment, without reassurance, without stability. And you're like, you should just let me make decisions and trust me and give all of your life and faith to me that I got you, but I'm not going to commit to you. I'm not going to give you a ring to say I'm in it, ride or die. And I'm not going to give you the reassurance of what the plan is. And I'm not going to give you safety, security, but you should put it all in with me. Is that right?
I mean, when you say it like that, but yeah, it's unfortunately the reality of it. Yeah, straight up.
Yeah. So we didn't know. Like at the time, you're like, I thought I was doing a good job. I thought I had it. Now, whose expectations were off? Was her expectations too high or were yours too high? What happened?
Like, honestly speaking, like on my side, I feel like I cannot or I was unable to take on the responsibilities of a fiance and then get married and have all these like the relationship was, I was all in. Like I tried to reassure her as much as I could, but I mean I wasn't in a position. I still am not in a position where I'm stable myself. So I'm trying to get some stability from myself first before I take on all these additional responsibilities. And I'm happy to go through everything with her, but I just felt like I needed a proper platform first before I bring her on. Like I want to be able to, I'm a traditional man, so I feel like I want to be able to shake her dad's hand and say like, hey, yo, from here on out, like I will look after your daughter. She will be well looked after. I can give you assurance that she's gonna be okay. And before I could make that commitment, I just wanted to be able to be confident that I could. But I mean, for her, she wasn't necessarily concerned about those things, and I just felt it was an injustice to ask for something if I'm not even like stable myself, man.
Well, maybe. Let's see. Why do you think she loved you?
Oh,
It
I
wasn't for
mean,
stuff.
no, definitely not.
It wasn't things. It wasn't because, you had a lot of money or stability and stuff. There's something else. What did she love you for? Why did she love you?
Um, I don't know. I'm honest. I'm straightforward. I'm ambitious. I'm pretty scared. I don't know. Pretty sweet
Like,
oak.
I don't even know why she loved me.
Um,
Why did she choose you? Why did she want to get married to you? Why did she want the commitment? Why did she want the ring with you?
I felt like I treated her well. I really felt like I treated her well. I supported her dreams. I feel like I was honest. I'm a pretty straightforward guy. Um, I felt like I help her to maybe I don't know, bring out the best in herself.
So what went wrong then?
I started, like I said, I got to a point where I started to lose confidence within my own self. Started to
Hmm.
lose um, lose my own self. And when I don't even feel confident in myself and feel reassured in my own ability and capacity, you could clearly see that through. And I'm not now, all of a sudden, I'm not the same person that I was when, like, we started our relationship. And as a result, like, things changed.
Mm-hmm. So you lost yourself in the relationship, but the way that you felt, like the thing that you needed most was, I need to get myself more established. I need to get more finances. I need to get more stability, more status, whatever, so I can take care of you and take care of whatever our lifestyle is, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And that was not her ask. That was your expectation. You compared you to this version of what you felt like you should be. Nothing against it. Just, this is my goals.
Yeah.
This is what I think I need to go. And she's like, I don't need that. I just need to know that no matter where you're going, we're all in together.
Yeah, pretty much 100%. It's literally even like the conversation we had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so that's really tough because you guys are both shooting at different things or have different things. And she's like, I'll go with you. Just make sure that, like, commit to me. Make sure that it's you and me forever. Like, I'm in.
Yeah, that was 100%.
That's tough. It's hard when we don't hear things. The expectations that you guys both had were very different things.
No,
And
that's for sure.
And so that's the hard part about it. There's a few different kinds of expectations for this. And you fell into a potential one. And I think that and you had this one where we were different people at the beginning and we've turned into different people. We're always going to do this. We're always evolving. I think it's funny that people think we're supposed to be the same when we were 15. It's like, no, you're not. That's not going to happen. There's 3 different kinds of expectations. Do you want to know what they are?
Yeah, hook me up.
All right. You got your notebook ready?
You've definitely got that right.
All right. First one, let's talk about the expectations that people have. These are relationship killers. Expectations kill relationships. Your expectations, both of you had, ended up creating roadblocks for you guys, and it killed a relationship. Let's talk about the different types, and then let's see how they apply. The first one is standards. Expectation standards. What this is a comparison of who you were at one point. A lot of times when people start dating, for example, or they start a relationship together, you'll start seeing behaviors that you really, really like. He may be more chivalrous. He may be like, let's go out on dates. I want to go and spend some more time with you, and I'll open your door, and more manners and all of whatever it is, like the effort to try to woo you over. He'll go above and beyond, get you flowers or whatever it may be. She may be more fun, more enthusiastic, more, more accepting, and like, oh, I love your hobbies, I love your dreams, and all of those things. These are the things that starts off where she's my best cheerleader, and I love her most. Her energy is awesome, and the way that she is, and she's so pretty and so fun, and I just such good energy there, right? And then it starts to fade over time. Usually commitment levels and things start to change the rules, or even have lifestyle change, or something happens. Somebody stops taking care of themselves physically, whether it's male or female, and they, become less attractive than they were when you first met. Or it could be like the chivalry has gone out the window and there's no longer any effort to woo her, or her enthusiasm and efforts towards the amount of intimacy or connection you guys have, she's just not putting any more effort into being like your cheerleader anymore. She's like, why aren't you doing enough? Instead of going, that's my man, you can do it. Starts to change, and you start comparing each other based on how it was. You used to do this, that's why I fell in love with you. You used to do, that's why I fell in love with you, and you don't do that anymore. And it starts to hurt the relationship. That's standard. I'm comparing you to you, and you're not measuring up to yourself with what you used to do. You used to do all these things, and now you don't do them anymore, and I'm comparing you to yourself. Standards. Next one is potential. The standards for potential, the comparison of could be based on your past performances or ideas discussed as goals. this is what I'm going to do. I'm in med school. I'm writing a book. I'm, building a dream. I'm starting a business. I'm going to go and do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to be a musician. I'm going to do something. Here's my goals and here's my potential and here's the things I'm trying to do. And people go, I really love who you are and I enjoy the amount of work you put into being more. We love people on a mission. We love it when someone's got a goal or a dream or a thing like, oh, I love where you're going. I love where you're going. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to work my ass off. Now, what's really difficult is life happens where you're like, oh, well, I got to stay in my 9 to 5 because I got to pay these bills so that way we can just get through this week. And I stopped on my goal and I stopped working on my dream and I had to back burner that. And something came up or someone got sick or I got to take care of a family member or something happens. And I had to put my stuff on the back burner. I had to stop putting in my time for what it is that could be me reaching my potential. And you start comparing the other person to like, I really loved how hard you would work to try and make your dreams come true. And just stopped doing that. And I'm comparing you again to you that you could be if you just kept going. But you seem distracted or there's excuses that got in the way or, something has happened to make you no longer doing those things. And I'm comparing you to what you definitely could be if you put in the work. And it feels like you're not. Those kind of feelings for expectations. The last one is made up, make believe. I just create a version of you in my head that's imaginary and they're upgraded. They're better. This is you with more money or you with bigger muscles or you if you were doing more skills or housework or you if you had a different place or a different car or you if you had if you did more of this or this so-and-so does this or so-and-so's husband does this or so-and-so's wife does this and other people do this and this person they had this and they bounced right back but you're not and all this comparisons of you versus stuff that's not real. Why don't you do what so-and-so does? It's like, well, first, we never even had a conversation about that. And second, I never agreed that that's even something I've ever done. Yet you're upset at me for not doing something we never even talked about. Well, I made up here's what I think you be, and I really like the version of you that I made up in my head, and you're not good enough anymore compared to who I made up you should be. Why don't you do more of this? How come you're not doing enough of this? You should be cleaning this. You should be folding these. You should be doing this. Why aren't you making this? Why aren't you having that happen? And you start going, damn, who are you comparing me to? Well, I'm comparing you to somebody I made up that has nothing to do with standard or potential. This is just what I want. And it has nothing to do with who you are. In fact, it's just a version of you that I want more and you don't measure up to, and you have to now defend yourself, who you really are against this made up version. Good luck. You're like, I don't even know who that is, but damn, I got to defend myself against that. Who is that? So here we are. You've got this, an idea of she should be just following me. She should be just like so-and-so. My idea is I'm old school. Well, who was old school relationship that you saw that was a marriage that you're like, we should be emulating? Could be your parents, could be aunt and uncle, could be grandparents. I don't know who it is that you're like, this is what a relationship like that is supposed to be like. Who is it that you're comparing her to that the relationship should work this way? We don't need to get married. We don't need to have a commitment. I don't need to have the reassurance. We'll figure it out. But you should give me blind faith with no prerequisites as to why. You should just give me that. And let's go ahead and do that. Based on what relationship have you ever seen like that before?
I mean, hitting a couple of home runs here. It's a lot to think about and process. I can say that when I just look at, and I can't specify like 100% this one relationship, but if I looked at like my brother's relationship and he was circumstances were different. He was in a position where it took him time to settle and get to a point where he was able to marry his girlfriend's wife now at the time. And when they first met, they were in different points in their life, and they went through a couple obstacles, and like she kind of like she stuck by him, and through a whole lot of shit, and they kind of made it work. I looked at my godfather's relationship, and him and my aunt have been married for like now, I don't know, fucking 30 years or something. And he also like took leap of faith. They got married quite young, and they just kind of like always made it work. And I've kind of like always looked at their relationship, and I was like, y'all the ones. And kind of just always, it goes back to what's this, make believe, and standards of like what I wanted from a relationship myself. Admittedly, I never really saw myself as much of a relationship person. I'm gonna be real with you. Like for a long time, I never really saw happy relationships. But then as I started to get older and started to like actually ask some of the men around me, like, are you like really happy? Because I mean, most men that I know like just bitch and moan about how unhappy they are. And then I spoke to some like, people that are close to me, and they were like truly happy and they truly enjoyed where they were in life. And then I was like, I got to a point, I think, where I just sort of felt like I wanted to be a different version of myself. And, I just felt like, maybe I needed that stability. And I found myself in a relationship with a person that I really got to know, really got along with really well. And, I felt like the relationship developed so naturally that I felt like this was the one, where it was very different from any other relationship that I'd ever been in. And it was, just magical. It was fucking, it was like the level of emotion and passion and everything else that comes with it. And I just felt like that I could have that idea, like you said, was make believe idea of what a relationship would look like in my head. And somewhere along the line, it just stopped being that.
It's interesting too. You said your brother, your aunt and uncle. Have you ever talked to your brother or your uncle about like what's your role in the relationship to like what's a guy do here to have? Have you ever talked to them about like you got a good marriage, right? Are you happy? Are you guys good? From the outside, a lot of people look like they're doing really well, but I know I work with people who are like, that's Facebook. Our reality is we fight every night. Have you ever asked to see if people are truly happy, or and if they are, what are they doing? And what do you do? What's your role? Have you ever asked anybody?
I have. Like that's why I use those specific two examples, because like I asked them, because like I said, most men that I speak to bitch and moan. Like I'm like, are you happy? They're just kind of like, can't leave. I got the kids, man. We signed for the fucking house together. There's always there's always like some sort of reason like I'm kind of happy. But no, to answer your question, I did I've had these sit downs with some people. I'm like, yo, are you truly happy? And they said, yeah, man, we are. And we're not always happy, and stumbles in our relationship, and there's been moments in our relationship. But then they, like they've even led me on a path where they're like, this is a book that we read, trying to understand like each other's love languages, trying to understand like communication. We've also had to work in our relationship. We've also like they were very transparent about what each person needs to do and what different roles, and like this is the came from. However, listening to these things and actually applying them is also two different scenarios. So
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, for the most part, from what I've heard and from what I've spoken to them, like that's if I could give two examples, those are the two examples I got, without putting my brother or uncle out there. Like, yo, fam, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Just
Well, I mean, you're proud of them. You're proud of them.
really am.
They're role models, so there's that thing. But in any case, yeah, it's good to be able to see what they're doing, but then like also recognize the expectations that I had. Is she's supposed to go along with me so we can have that kind of relationship, even though I'm not doing the things that they do to have that kind of relationship.
Yeah, I tried. Like, I
well,
mean,
well, remember goes into the next part. Let's talk about loss and failure. You said I tried. I did. I went for it. I gave it my best. It all fell apart. It failed. Okay. I bet we learned a lot though.
sure, bro. Like, there's some lessons only life can teach, man.
Mm-hmm. Here's something that people don't associate with love, and I don't want to stay on this for too long, but one of the categories in our training is with love is one of the spaces. This one right here is that love is the highest source of pain that we have.
Sure. I'm writing that down.
We forget this. We open up ourselves for love,
Bro.
and the most damage that we've ever taken is in this category. And it's not always relationships, it can be parents or family members or best friend. Somebody I really care about is generally going to be the category that has the highest source of pain.
Fact. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't need no degree to tell you that. Like, fact.
Mm-hmm. So when we start going through loss and failure, especially loss of relationship, even death, when we go through loss, we do have to go grieving on this one. And this is where some of these things get really difficult, especially the denial aspect of it. And I didn't make up grieving cycles, and we're probably not going to go as deep as I usually go on this today. But with your grieving cycles, you go through denial, bargaining, anger, depression to get to acceptance. Now, this is where it gets tricky. Probably, in my opinion, all of them are dangerous. They're all life takers. They all shit out somebody. They're all tough. I think the most dangerous on the list is denial. I did not think so at first. This one eluded me because I was like, denial, the war with what is, just, well, that happened. Duh, not that difficult. Denial is a Trojan horse. Denial is the fall of Troy. Denial is the thing that comes in like it's a protector, keeps you, makes it so people don't judge you. You get accepted because of your persona, the way I carry myself, my outfit, my swagger. Everything about me is going to be cool because, but is it authentic? Hey, are you okay? I'm fine. I'm good. I got it under control, but inside you're just ripped apart. I can't be vulnerable. I can't be authentic. I can't be open because that's going to hurt too much. And so I'm going to push that down. Denial is retreat. Denial is hide. Denial is suppress. Denial is change what it is so people approve of you and accept you. And it's don't be real. These are the masks that we wear. And there's a lot of different kind of masks. You've seen the Joker mask, the guys who just make jokes about everything, no matter how bad it is, and make everybody laugh. Stoic mask, I'm calm and cool and have everything under control, even if I don't. Athlete mask, I'm the biggest, I'm the best. Follow me because I'm a champion. The material mask, I've got money, I've got status. That's what makes me awesome. Like we've seen all these. There's more too. There's so many different masks. Anger mask, the aggression, the alpha mask, which is often done incorrectly. A lot of times we're just suppressing ourselves and putting on some sort of a mask to look different than what we really are. When we trained with our women, makeup is a 4-level curse. Denial, fear, there's doubt, and it's going to be a big part as far as bargaining. Like it's all mixed in with all these different things. And this is how people live their lives, is they just avoid. I call it with avoidance. If you I changed it up, you break it up. Avoidance is a void dance. A lot of times people will deflect, answer questions with questions, change the subject, ask about you instead. It's avoidance. It's an avoid dance. It keeps you a hole in me that I don't want you near. That part of myself I don't want you to know about, the thing that makes me have to be accountable or authentic, I don't want to do that. It would hurt too much. Denial's
Check.
tough. Denial's tough, man. It's the toughest one because the other ones, it's easier to spot. You can see an angry person a mile away. You can see a depressed or sad person a mile away. But denial looks like shit together.
This literally, like, I'm not even gonna like pretend, man. It comes all the way back to what we spoke about last week, which is vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
By denying everything else, I don't have to ever speak about anything real. Avoidance, like I will cha-cha you through anything. Like it's I can deflect any conversation. Like it's no problem. Every mask that you speak of, I own them all. I've never been one to, like I told you, and we spoke last week, I've never been one to be vulnerable. I've never been one to open up. I've never been one to share. So when someone actually does ask anything on those lines, depending on like the context of the situation, I can play it off. I can make it a joke. Just be like, yo, it's cool. I got this. I can, whatever it is. Um, I've been doing it so long that I never have to speak about everything. I can suppress a lot, like a lot. Like it's, in fact, I'm better at suppressing than I am speaking, like much, like way more. Like if we could like put it on a scale, like it'd be like so one-sided. Um, but that's why I'm here.
That's a good observation too. My skills in suppression are far higher than my skills in authenticity.
Yeah, fact.
It's a heavy sentence and good awareness, man. Good on you. Because it also shows you where you can start working. I'm not actually being real even to myself. This is where we start playing around with the denial curse of my truth, not the truth. Most lies, the best lies, are like 95% true. I see people lie all the time with the truth. What do you mean? What are you talking about? I'll give an obscure example, but then we can pull it back into a real one. Um, I'll see people who have to call off of work because their, a family member passed away. Like, oh, my aunt just passed away. You're like, oh man, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, I gotta take the week off the funeral this week, and I gotta take the week off. You're like, okay, yeah, no, family member died. Yeah, take the week, do your thing, grieve, do your stuff. What they didn't say is, I only talked to that aunt like twice in my whole life. We weren't even close. They lived on the other side of the country, so I never went out with them. And I'm not even going to the funeral because I didn't even know that lady. I know my neighbors better than I knew my aunt, but my aunt did die, and there is a funeral this week. I just didn't say I'm going. I'm taking the week off though, and I'm gonna do my own thing. It's still
Yeah,
got
bro,
the truth is there. It's still true.
that's bad karma though. Like, don't do that shit. but I hear where you're coming from. Like, yo.
Well, people will tell their half truths,
Mhm.
or they'll tell their most truths, but it's not fully true. And we do that to ourselves. I'm good. I got my shit together. I'm the man. I've got this. I'm doing no problem. Part of that might be true. What are you leaving out? What are we suppressing? What are we hiding? What are we not putting on the table that would be real? And are we able to answer our own questions for some of these things? Like, what am I hiding? What did I just suppress? Why did I do that? And a lot of times, you and just about anybody listening to this are probably pretty damn good at asking questions, but are shit at answering them.
I feel like it's a coping mechanism
Oh,
that we
yes.
develop over time, and it just becomes so natural to just go down that route as opposed to having to like face that shit. And that's, you do it for long enough, you just kind of feel like that's the natural approach.
Mm-hmm.
And you get through other hard situations in your life, your textbook method, and when new problems come, you know apply this same formula
Yeah.
um, until formula stops working. And then you're like, yo, Rick, what are you doing on Wednesday?
Well, let's go in. Let's answer some of the questions. Let's go in. All right. It's a coping mechanism. Why do we have to coping mechanism? What is that even for? Like, when do we need that?
Hurt, pain, um, struggle. Like you personally, I'm going to say you, I'm going to say personally, apply it when you don't want to be vulnerable.
Well,
When
if
you
you don't want to
don't
be vulnerable, what are you trying to do?
put on a brave face, cope, look better, make sure that it like just look, create an image that you're fine.
For what reason? What are we trying to do here? Why do I have to do all of this? I have to create an image. I have to learn how to be. I'll be okay. I'm going to put up the front. What am I trying to do?
Suppress the real pain. I don't have to speak about that shit. I
Why
have
do
to
I have
like
to do
go
that though? What am I trying to do here? What do I not have that I even need to do that?
closure,
Starts with a C still. Control.
control. It's going to be my next guess.
I knew it was. I was right ahead of you on that one. I saw you were about to say. It's the control. The reason we cope is because we don't have control. And I need to find something that I have control over. And we do really weird stuff as people when we don't feel like we have any control. We don't have reassurance. We don't have safety. We don't have security. I can't open up. I can't be vulnerable. I don't have control. I'm not good here. We do really weird stuff, even to the point where some people change themselves because they don't have control and they need to feel like they can control something. This is why I see like women will dye their hair, or guys will change something about them, shave the beard off or something. We do stuff to try to I have control. I would catch myself doing that stuff too. I would shave off part of the beard, or heck, even something as weird as I'm going to shave my arms off because I have control of something. Like it's the craziest stuff, the way that we would work to say, I'm going to change something on myself. I'm going to shed the old me and I'm going to have like shed that skin. I'm going to go into the next thing for myself. I have control. But really it was a manifestation of I don't have any control. I'm trying to cope. I'm trying to deal. And I don't know how. And sometimes when we're trying to cope and deal with things, like you said, this suppression system, or sometimes people get angry and lash out, or sometimes people over explain themselves and they'll try and negotiate through and try and control conversations or interrupt people a lot and not let them talk, or even compromise themselves. How much of myself can I sacrifice and give just so we have peace? You know, and you see people who do surrender and they give up, like you said, shut it down. Just all my fight was off the table. I don't have control here, so fuck it, whatever. You start losing yourself. So you have that whole system. You have everything from retreat, hide, suppress. You got negotiate, which is over explain, interrupt, compromise. You got your fight, which you're like, this has limitations to it. Screaming matches, tantrum, lash out, throw things, get in an argument, fight about it. And then you've got your surrender. I give up, shut down, freeze, got nothing. When did we develop these? When did we have to do that? Like, where did this stuff, when did we start working on, like, I need a coping mechanism? When did we start working on that? When do you think that was?
Go ahead and say from childhood.
Well, when you were a little kid, how much did you have control of?
Not much.
Well, it makes sense that we would have to figure out some way to deal with shit when you don't have control of it, when you don't have much control.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, which mechanism works is based on the environment you're in. If you're in an environment where people actually care about your feelings, suppression make a lot of sense.
No.
But if you're in an environment where people do not give a crap about your feelings, would suppression make sense?
Yes.
So which one did you have?
The latter.
It makes perfect sense that you have a suppression mechanism. Nobody cares about my feelings. Why would I even put them out there? Nobody's going to care anyways. Just shut it down. Pretend like it's fine. Even if it isn't, who would I tell? Who would care?
Yeah, pretty much. Like,
Well, So we built this system when you were a kid. So here we are now. We're adults. And at some point, we can handle conversation to a point where our trigger gets hit. We get knocked in. This thing that we built when we were kids, where we did not have control, there is a system that says, I don't have control here. It may be in your relationship, maybe at work, maybe your finances, and maybe your friendships. Who knows? But there's a point where, like, I don't have control. I'm not okay. And then your system gets kicked on. I'm either shutting it down and I'm pushing it down and I'm not going to talk about it. I lash out and get very upset because I need to control this. I'm going to force it. Just give up. Surrender. I got nothing here. Fuck it. We're going to talk it to death. I'm going to talk, hoping that you just do it. Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
We started the system when we were little kids and never upgraded it and wonder why our relationships and our dynamics struggle. But we're acting like little kids whenever we don't have control. Well, no wonder it's going wrong and we start getting upset, calling names, temper tantrum, break our toys, hide your things. We shut down and we stop talking, or we over-explain ourselves and talk our asses off until people don't even want to hear you anymore. Happens all the time. So we might as well just persona that has all our shit together so people still accept us and like us because we are still social creatures. So it's better to just look the part versus be authentic, because authentically, real talk, I'm hurting. And I don't want to tell you that because nobody seems to care.
Yeah, I follow that train of thought. Like, yeah, and you don't ever really sit and think about it, but I follow the train of thought. It's pretty accurate. It's extremely accurate. Think about it. It's like I said, I would not be able to go through to a specific moment in which I'd be like, I started doing it from then. I just feel like I've just been doing this for so long that that's kind of my go-to. Like, if you've got a real problem, do you want to sort it out? Like, what do you want to do? But for the most part, like, if it's going to become like an argument or have this shouting match, or I need to come and justify my reasons, or I have to try and explain myself, I'll just be like, fuck it, yeah, and whatever, cool, you do you. It happens it happens enough times, and you start to, as I said, you start to lose control, and then you feel like you're losing yourself because you're not in control. And for a person like me, I like to believe I'm in control of most things. Apparently, I'm not. But it's a lot of new information to me, man.
It's a lot to take on. Even it's a lot of information there. We don't have to get into like the full loss and failure aspect of things to even go, damn, there's a lot of missing pieces I just wasn't shown. And I'm using an outdated system. I'm using a system that I created before I can even remember. I was doing this when I was 7, 8 years old. I don't remember what was going on. I wasn't really processing. I was just trying to survive in an environment I didn't have control over. And so how do I get through that? That's what I'm using now in my relationship, and wondering if relationships are struggling when I'm using an outdated system of an 8-year-old.
Yes.
Well, it makes sense that we're struggling when I'm using my little kid system to try to have a very adult conversation. All right, brother. So we're going in. We've got a lot of coping stuff that you're going to sort out. We got expectations that we got into, and we got a couple other things. Let's go in. I'm going to skip failure for right now because that's a whole nother thing. Let's just get into, is it normal to have highs and lows like this? Like, we get into, like you said, I had a great start of the week, and then by the end of the week, it started going. So you're like, what's going on here? Why is it going low? This isn't right. This is fuck. This sucks. Do you think it's good or bad that we have highs and lows?
I believe it's good. I do believe that it's just a part of life. We have to face challenges. We have to face adversity. Nothing good would come if it was just easy. Like, it's nice overcoming challenges. I like it. But the reality of that, exactly that, is that when things aren't going your way, it's it sucks, man. It sucks. And when you're on a losing streak and you get another loss, it's you're just kind of like, it is what it is. But like, when things are going your way and then you just it was like you get caught off guard and you weren't expecting it, going back to expectation, it it just hits a little harder. And it was just one of those where I just I wasn't expecting to to take the loss. Like I wasn't expecting to just hit a dip. Like I just when you feel like you're on par with what you're doing, you want to keep winning, and when you don't, it hurts, man. It sucks. um it's part of it. I get that, and I know that I'll bounce back from it, but it sucks. I know.
Sure. I guess it depends on how we look at it too, because we feel like, oh man, I lost. I lost. I really don't have that opinion on losing. I fail all the time. I fail every day, man. All the time. Happens all the time. I don't think that it's necessarily needs to be a good or bad thing. It's just what am I supposed to learn from that? And this is why I think loss is triple XP, man. If you fuck around and you pray for wisdom, you're gonna lose. Not because you're a loser. It's because when you lose, you learn way faster than when you win. And so if I want wisdom, it's not like a trick where it's like, oh, now I know Kung Fu. No, it's like you're going to have to go practice and you're going to get beat up a lot. And that's how you learn how to do Kung Fu. And so, like, even when I actually did learn Kung Fu. When I was learning, my sensei would fuck me up. I'm like, ow, 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 ow. He's like, now you see what that feels like when you grab. I'm like, yeah, I got it. I got it. Okay. And he's like, all right, now let's practice. Be careful because I'm an old man, so don't break my wrist. I'm like, he's like, I'm letting you grab me like this, so just be careful. And so this is the practice though itself is like you have to like. He's like, go ahead and punch me. I'm like, I'm gonna punch you. He's like, go ahead. And then I'm like, he's got me my arm. He's like, see what that feels like? I'm like, uh-huh. He's like, that's how it should feel for them. Okay. I didn't win. But holy shit, did I learn real quick that okay, that's effective. And it does a thing. And now I would like to learn how to do that because it's very effective. I want to learn. I want to know that. But that loss, that I didn't win that. I didn't just punch him in the face. Like I was tied into a knot very quickly. Learning very fast. Life does that all the time to us. We think we should just be winning, but damn does it teach us our lessons. The difference is we're not paying attention half the time, and life will teach you over and over again until you get it. And this is where people are messing up, is they're like, oh my God, everything's going so wrong. It's not happening to you. It's happening for you. What are you supposed to learn? Not everything is going wrong. If you look at it this way, the failures are triple XP. It's a success. So I know what to be prepared for. Now I see that's how that went. Oh, I was missing a piece I didn't know. This relationship that you just had is riddled with life lessons to make it so you never repeat that mistake again. You're going to be better at searching for unmet needs. You'll be better at listening. What is it that you want? Better at being more prepared at understanding yourself so you don't make the same mistakes again over and over. That's what we had to make them for. And when people don't give each other and forgiveness for making mistakes, that just shows that they have a coping mechanism that's really immature also. We're supposed to make mistakes to learn lessons. And if you can't forgive people and you think that you have to punish everybody because they made a mistake, it just shows that you probably shouldn't be in a relationship. Some people listened to that and they were like, damn, I may have to chill it out. Somebody has told the truth. They go, how do I punish you for that? It's not what a relationship is. And that's not what the mistake was for. It was meant to go, I definitely learned a lesson on what I'm never going to do again. That was a tough lesson. But now I grew. And you go, cool. Now we have gotten stronger. New agreements, new understanding. Pray for wisdom, though, you're going to lose. Because you become the smartest guy in the room when you get your ass kicked over and over again. For understanding, Well, you're going to be in some stuff that you don't understand. And then you're going to have to go, what is going on right here? Well, you better start asking questions because it's real weird. And if you want to understand, you're going to have to learn a new skill to figure it out. What's going on? Ask good questions.
So why I'm here.
Yeah, there's always things. There's 100 of those, obviously. Highs are supposed to be there, but these lows are life lessons. And the highs are good because the good's not as good without the bad. And so we have to have those to compare it to. Otherwise, if you win every day, this is where you see people who are highly entitled, people who don't show appreciation, and people who live their life based on expectations of how everybody should be in their make believe mind to serve them. And this is meism. It's all about me, me, me. And these are the curses. These are the ones that make it so people actually end up doing massive harm to people who are trying to find love, connection, friendship, but they can't see it. And sometimes you have to go through some pretty big losses to go, damn, needed that lesson because it hurt like hell. And that loss is riddled with lessons.
Fact.
You look like I filled your cup already today.
Yeah, there's a lot, man. It's like I said, there's a lot going on in my mind. You know, like I'm just looking at things from a different perspective. When you touched on expectations, standards, potentials, and make believe, and you ticked every box. We spoke about avoidance and my truth, not the truth, and lacking controls, suppression systems into coping mechanisms. Like these are all factors, every single one that I know for a fact that I'm guilty of, or yeah, straight up guilty of, in one way or another. I could sit here and try justify the case and try and argue, like, and give you context and whatnot, but I look at it for what it is, like just call a spade, and yeah, fuck.
Proud of you, man. I think it's awesome. Good, because it gives you some stuff to work on. It's a good assignment to go into because the awareness of this is really powerful for people. And a lot of times people aren't even aware we're doing this. We run on autopilot all the time based on the people we've been around who don't even have this conversation. How are you supposed to know what you don't know?
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of soul searching going on, mate.
Good job.
But like I said, it's a lot to try and process in a short span of time, and like I'm gonna just like be on this for a while. Yeah, I have some intense workouts this week, I tell you that. It's a lot. I just some lost for words.
I can only imagine how many people are listening to this like, yeah, fuck me,
Yeah.
man. I took notes and this sucks. I got work to do. Good.
Okay.
Because that means you're growing. And that's what this is for.
It's why I am here. I keep saying it, but it is. It's if I want a different result, I need to take a different approach. And as different as this is, I've never done things like this before. We spoke last week about vulnerability and opening up and speaking, and I told you it's not a factor that I'm comfortable with. It's not a factor that I enjoy. It's not a factor that I like to put myself in a position. Today we've gone deeper in that, and I see why it's not a factor I like, and where this suppression system comes from, and you start dissecting that more, and you just you look at yourself in the mirror more and more, and you're just like, shit. But this is what the path is for. This is why I'm here. Because I want to actually make a change. I want to yield different results. I want to be 10 years down the line in the same position I'm in now. I don't want to keep feeling the hurt and the pain and not learning from all these life lessons that, well, keep being given to me. Like, it's about time I just fucking learn.
Mm-hmm. This is good. It's when it's hard like this. This is the way. the path that's uncomfortable, the path that makes you have to introspect. This is the way. And that's why it's the warrior's way, is it's not easy. This isn't a rah, rah, everything's happy, go you. It's like, did you see the part that you really need to train here? Like, we're missing pretty hard. Let's practice. This is the way. Good job, brother.
Thank you. This is,
yeah. Hesitant. Yeah, thanks. Jeez.
Yeah, it's yeah, man. I'm not gonna. Yeah, it's a lot. Really, it really is. Cool.
Awesome, bro. Well, let's call it there. I'm gonna jump off of here, but thank you guys for listening to the Warriors Way Mindset. I hope you guys got something awesome. Honor to Andrew in South Africa. We're across the world on each other and able to still connect. So pretty awesome. Thank you again for another very cool episode, bro. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Rick.